Hey guys, I'm back again. I just wanted to do this video because I'm going to talk about a new purchase I got recently off Gunbroker for, I guess I don't really know why I did it. I was reading an article on this pistol, this one right here. This, if you can't tell already, this is the Diamondback DB9FS, the full-size version, and it has the ghost gray Cerakote frame. There was an article I was reading on Brian Eno's forums, and a guy was talking about getting one of these for a cheap. He was kind of going to play around with it and make it into a, I think it was a USPS PCA or whatever it is. He was going to do it for a competition gun. And so I was reading the story, and he went pretty in depth on it, and he showed some of the mods he did to it and stuff. And I always like kind of screwing around with stuff, and I kind of have my collection of guns is kind of like stagnant at the moment. So I figured if I could get one cheap enough, I'd grab one and tinker with it too. So of course I went right over to Gunbroker, and then I just threw a bid on the first one I saw with no reserve, thinking there's no way in heck I'm going to get it for that price. Well, I did, and I'm not going to get into all that right now. But anyhow, so I ended up with it and picked it up last night. So in this video, I'm going to compare it to the FNS-9L, which if you go on my channel, you'll see other videos I've done about this, holster fit and stuff like that. This is a gun that I use in IDPA, and I awesome gun, completely accurate. I've shot over 2,000 rounds on this. I did a 2,000 round challenge on it, no cleaning beyond the initial. Past that with flying colors, I'm over 20, probably over 2,200 rounds through it now, and it's never had a failure. But I did do a complete cleaning on it. So I'm not sure if I cleaned it after the last time I shot it though, but I did clean it after it was over 2,000 rounds. So let's kind of go over these two real quick. We'll go over size, width, all that kind of stuff. I'll show you a mag mod that I did too. If you've already read, this uses a mag body that is designed off the Beretta 92. And they used to come with Checkmate mags, and now they're coming, this one anyhow, I think this is a fairly new one. This came with an ACT mag. Let's see if I can get that to show up. There you can see it. And ACT mags are made in Italy too. Somebody told me it's an offshoot from Metgar. I think some stuff went down between a couple people at Metgar, and this guy went and started his own. But ACT mags have came with like TSOS 1911s and a few other guns. I have a 1911 ACT mag. It's okay. Every once in a while it won't hold the slide open after the last shot. It's the only mag I have that's ACT, and it's the only mag I have that acts up. So I haven't shot this yet because I just picked it up last night. But anyhow, this is the ACT mag. This is a Beretta / Taurus 92 mag. The Taiwan version that I've been getting from Sarco for about 11 bucks each, and these have run flawless in my 92, and these have the heel cut, and my 92 has a heel cut, so it doesn't really matter about this cut because my pistol doesn't have that anyway. And if you look at the notch cut on the, let's see if I can get that to show up, there it is. So right here, these are cut higher on the Diamondback. So I just did that with a Dremel. There's another video on YouTube about a guy doing this too. So, I mean, really simple. Just use the cut wheel, and then I use the super thin grinding wheel, and then I just touched it up with some needle files. And I'll show you that it locks in here perfect. And it's real easy job to do. I mean, literally it took me less than 5 minutes to do it. So, this mag will still function perfectly in my 92, and then it'll still, I can use it in this one too. And I've got like 8 of these, so I'll probably cut a few more of them in case I do want to run this in competition if it proves to be a decent shooter. So anyhow, let's kind of go over this really quick. You can see right there, FS9, all the stuff. If you're interested in this pistol, you probably already watched videos on it, even though there's not many of them out there. So anyhow, the cool thing about this is the really ergonomic grip shape. You can see that the massive taper that they did on the back portion, and then the palm swell that's there and everything really feels awesome. Very impressed. One of the things I thought about doing with this, which I considered, was there's a lot of meat right here, and I thought, wow, you could even get a higher grip on there if I cut all this off and then, you know, custom made a beaver tail right there. You could get an even higher grip. But I don't think that's a great idea anymore, because there's really no way I could get any higher. And if you look at this and then look at this and then put them next to each other where the slides are, they actually come down at the exact same angle, although that probably doesn't quite look like it on there. And so as high as a grip as I can get on this, I can get that same grip, and believe it or not, it's a little more comfortable because of the fatness right here, but it drops into that web space right there. And this is a really easy gun to get a high purchase on. So that is great. The thing that I don't like, and I don't know why they designed it this way, with the mag being a 15 round mag and a grip in a full-size grip length, you know, this is longer than a compact like Glock 19 or, you know, P99, anything in a compact concealment size. Why they made that base plate come up so high when you look at compared to the standard, instead of just bringing the grip down and running, instead of having this, you know, here, which doesn't really aid in reloading because there's a little lip. Let's see if I can catch that for you. So it's not like it guides you right into the mag well, because you'd hit this and it could stop you. So if I was designing this or redesigning it, I would have brought the grip down to the full length, so then when this goes in, it would sit flush right there, and then you wouldn't need these proprietary things that they're paying somebody to either 3D print or mold or, you know, whatever the heck they're doing to make those, and they could just run a straight 92 mag. I know that some 92 mags have that little bit thicker plastic base plate, but if you look where that ends, you would still have room for that style on there. So that's kind of a gripe that I have. I guess if there was a way that I could 3D print something, or have somebody, you know, 3D print something and somehow I could mold it into this and make that, I would probably do that and then ditch these ridiculous looking base plates that they have. Another thing is I'll probably do this. I'll probably fire up the wood burner and texture that mag release button. It has a slight texture to it. You can probably see there, but it's really slippery. So I'll probably just put the needle point on there and just tap, 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 make it a little bit more rough. So that's some of the features on this that I do care for. This has a steel trigger, so the trigger is steel, and the tang is steel, the safety tang, and it has a pretty decent amount of width to it. So when you get your finger on there, it really feels outstanding. Whereas this is just a giant hunk of plastic, and it's smooth across there, but it's not the greatest tactile feel on your trigger finger. So the other thing too is that the first part of this, that take up, I don't know if you can hear that. It's not really grit, but it's the way that this is designed. The double-sided slide stop presses down and the trigger bar, and they kind of smash against each other, so that's what that is. And then it's probably also pushing up the striker block. So this is it is a very good trigger, but that first part feels a little crummy, whereas this one, the first part, there's really nothing to it. So I'm gonna pop the slide off of this, and I want to show you. Let's see, where's the striker? Yeah, it's down. So let's pull the slide off, and I'll show you just something, the internals here real quick. Now, I've seen ones where these have that bushing on there and ones that don't. I'm thinking that the newer ones have that bushing. It's still a flat recoil spring, and it's still captured. Barrel, of course, polished feed ramp. It's a nice barrel. The one thing I do like, they polished the pickup bar. That's cool. That's a nice touch. The striker block is big and it's rough. I might end up stoning that and polishing it. I'm not sure. All I've done so far was I cleaned the striker channel out, and these take down just like a Glock. So you just, that little bit of black plastic right there, you just push that forward, it relieves the base, the end cap, and then you can pop the end cap off. The end caps on these are steel, and they do have a hole so you can see when the striker is charged. The face of the striker, like on the Glock 25 cent trigger job, was a little bit rough on there. I'm thinking you can pick that up now. It's probably not quite coming into focus, but anyhow, there it is. You can see that I stoned and polished that, and it did make a difference in the trigger, believe it or not. So let's go over the trigger mechanism in the frame, and I'll show you how ridiculously simple this thing is. So for those of you that don't know, the firing mechanism on here is copied off the Springfield XD, whereas the slide is more like the Glock, and the takedown mechanism, the Glock. The grip angle is M&P, and then of course the magazines are Beretta. So it's kind of a hodgepodge thing, but they really took good features of each gun. So just like on the XD, the rear slide rails are polymer, and the front slide locking block, this whole block mechanism is, on this it's aluminum alloy, because here's a magnet and it doesn't stick to that, but it sticks to the pins that are in there. So this is aluminum alloy. This pin right here is the cross pin that the barrel locks up on and does the locking and unlocking. And then, so how simple this is, this spring right here is for the slide stop. This is the, which I'm going to polish this, stone and polish this too, because this is the, it rides forward and it pushes that striker block up. It's a little bit rough. That peak is really sharp. I'll probably leave that alone. I'm not going to change any angles on there, but I'm going to smooth it up. So to show you how simple the mechanism is, there's a plunger down in there that pushes up on the trigger bar for the reset. It sits down in here. It's in a hole. And then this is the sear, and then there's a sear spring right there that is captured under this cross pin right here that runs right there, and then that solid pin right there is the sear pin. So completely simple. If you push that pin partway across and left it holding this ejector in, you could get that leg of that spring off. Then you could push the sear out, you could pull that out, and then you could stone this back surface and polish that too. But I'm not going to do that because it's pretty good. And you can see that the mechanism, all it does is the striker gets caught on that. When you pull the trigger, the sear falls, and then the striker slams forward. So super simple. I can't imagine that stuff really breaks in there, and if it is, you could probably, or if it does, and not is, if it does, you could probably modify, Springfield XD parts to work if you can't get anything from Diamondback. I've heard conflicting things on it. I've heard that Diamondback is great and they'll send you parts, and then I heard now that Taurus, I think, has ownership of Diamondback, that they say some parts are restricted. If that's the case, I'm not sending the gun in. If it breaks, I'm going to modify parts, or, get parts machined, or part the gun out and get rid of it. So I'm hoping that it's reliable. I'm hoping that it shoots okay. The grip just feels outstanding. So I'll break down the XD or the FNS-9 here, and we're going to go over some weights quick, and then I'll wrap up the video. I don't want to go super long. So this grip frame is amazingly light, lighter than any other polymer frame that I've felt, that at least feel wise. So we'll find out weight wise. I didn't weigh them. 5.47 ounces for that entire grip frame. So let's see, the magazine weight, 3.63. Let's see what my other one was. 2.93. So it doesn't have this ridiculously chunky base plate on it. It'll weigh even less. So let's put it back together and throw the whole thing on there for weight. And without a mag, 21.45. Let's put the factory mag in. And we are at 25.08. So let's do the FNS complete empty mag, empty chamber, obviously. And let's put that on there. 26.56. so a couple ounces heavier. Let's weigh this magazine. It's a 17 round magazine, 2.96, so about the same as the one without the base plate. Let's leave that out and let's bring this, let's tear this down. So this lower, almost 7 ounces, 6.98. So this lower is heavier, but again, look at how much more steel is in there. Back part is all steel, front part is all steel. You got this bar, which is, you know, your slide lock, and then your trigger bar is a double-sided bow. The mechanism down in here is steel. The mag release is steel. Your takedown lever is steel. So, and this plastic, look at how thick that is. It's probably the thickest polymer frame plastic that you'll see, and an awesome beveled, completely beveled mag well. So these guns are so awesome. I can't believe more people don't throw away their Glocks and get these. All right, let's put this back together. So let's compare them this way, sorry. So we're gonna line up the sights, or the back of the slide first, and the beaver tail. And you'll see that the 5-inch FNS-9L is about almost a full half-inch longer. And this is a 4 3/4 inch barrel, but when you line up the chambers, there's only that much difference. So it's the back portion of the sight radius that's longer on the FNS-9. Both of them have steel sights. This uses Glock sights, and this, I guess this channel is loose enough, or this sight is loose enough in the channel that the set screw in there is what keeps it from sliding back and forth, because some people were getting them in the box and the sight was off and they had to tighten that 4mm screw down. So width-wise, they're pretty much the same, but that contour of the Diamondback makes it feel way more narrow down here at the bottom back, which is that part that hits that fat part of your palm right there. So it does feel great, although this feels tremendous, and I have the arch back strap on this one. So I love this pistol. I can't say enough about it. If this one performs, I'll tell you what, guys, if you can get them cheap, it might be a player in the game. So I will definitely do a shooting report. If I end up shooting outdoors, it's winter time now, so I'll have to wait for some weather. But if I end up doing outside shooting, on some state land or something, I'll bring cameras and take some footage and upload that too. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something about this. Hopefully, instead of just turning your nose up at stuff, you give it a shot, because really there's a lot of features on this that are they're pretty likable. So thanks for watching, and I always appreciate that thumbs up button, and you guys be safe out there. Thanks.